Talking of time, it could have been 30 minutes, 45. It wasn't a very long visit.
No, it was definitely under an hour. I mean, the royal family doesn't always do things the way that perhaps families, ordinary families, would do. Somebody flies from the other side of the world, then you might think, well, surely they'll drop everything. But I mean, the royal day, the royal week, everything's sort of mapped out and Harry knows this. I mean, he knows this very well. He's been brought up on this. I think the main thing for him and the main thing for the king was that there was a meeting. I mean, there's so much to say that they could, frankly, have had a 2-week summit and not got through it all. I think the main thing was, he was there, he showed the compassion and concern, and I think it's a positive.
But what happens next? I mean, the obvious thing to do would be for Harry to follow his father up to Sandringham and actually spend some quality time with him there whilst he's recuperating from his treatment. But as yet, we don't know exactly what his movements are. Do you expect him to fly back to California now, or do you think he's going to stick around in the UK for a while, Robert?
I wouldn't expect him to stick around for too long. I mean, I think back to the coronation. I mean, there's an event that he could plan for many weeks in advance, and he arrived some hours before it and was on a plane home some hours after it. He didn't hang around. I think, I don't know. I'm not privy to what's in Harry's mind. I think the main thing was to show that that he is on his father's side. But when you think of all the things, go back through his various interviews, go back through his book, that talk about what he's expecting from the monarchy in terms of sort of apologies and the things that will be unresolved, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's going to take so long to sort out. Do you want to suddenly inflict all that on someone who's just started undergoing treatment for cancer? I think, I think everybody would take the view that, that's a good thing, but let's not start piling on other issues which have yet to be resolved. And then, of course, there's the issue of, does he meet his brother? That seems to be highly unlikely. I think you want sort of settled times, a clear gap in the diary, and then that sort of deep discussion can take place. Now is not really the time for it anyway.
That seems to be the more tricky of the relationships, doesn't it? Because it appears that it's Prince William who said there's no meeting scheduled and there won't be one.
Well, I mean, Prince William is right now facing, I would argue, one of the biggest crises he's had to deal with, since his marriage, really. I mean, his wife is the princess is still recovering at home. He's already got a backlog of events that he's had to cancel because he was looking after her, and now onto him falls the role that fell to his father when the Queen was in when her health started to decline, and which she herself started to undertake when when George VI was unwell, starting in around 1948, and I mean that placed an immense burden on Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Prince Philip had to give up his career in the Navy in the end because of that. So he's got an awful lot on his plate, and he's having to readjust. So, as I say, I mean, into all this, it's not the time really to have the big showdown that clearly needs to happen. And but I don't think it's going to happen right now.
Robert, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. That's the Robert Hardman, royal biographer. I wish we could have had him on for longer.